Welcome to the EOB Podcast, where we talk about the weekend box office and the new openings this week. I'm Ben No, and joining me is Sen Duong. So, Sen, welcome back to another podcast.
Thanks. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Let's jump right in. I said in the previous podcast that my projection's going to be off around this time, since really I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, and that proves to be true with last week's movies.
So you were right that you were gonna be wrong. So
Yes, and I can I can apply that to pretty much everything about me.
well, I was well.
Yeah,
I
but you were
don't know.
pretty
Let's see how
close.
we did.
You were pretty close. So let's jump right in and see how wrong I was. And you were correct on a bunch of those. So I think you're gonna have to carry the podcast for these couple of weeks while I get my bearing.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's jump right in. The number one movie this weekend is It. It got knocked out by Kingsman, The Golden Circle, the previous weekend, but now it kind of returned. Maybe temporarily, since the number one, the first, second, and third movie are kind of separated by a couple 100K, right? When the actual numbers come in, who knows? So like these movies could jump around a bit. Right now, the estimates have It as the number one movie with a 17.3 million over the weekend, drop off of 42% from the previous weekend. And domestic gross right now is like 291 million, so it's going to cross the 300 million at some point, maybe even after this week.
Right, and the worldwide gross is at 553 million. Something that is a surprise to me because I didn't know it was that popular overseas too.
Yeah, it's one of these phenomenon where I think maybe I don't know. I couldn't really explain it. That there could be the marketing, or it could be that TV show way back then.
The miniseries.
The miniseries, yes.
Yeah, they did make a miniseries, but I don't think it traveled overseas.
But again, it's one of these movies, a horror movie at that.
Yeah, it might be. It might be the book. Might be. It might have been, like you said previously, might have been translated into a gazillion languages.
Yeah, it could be, but it could be just one of these movies that just somehow captures people's imaginations, interests, and it could be different enough. Not a superhero movie, no world destruction.
Yeah, right. And the thing is, with the top three being separated by 300,000, you don't know if WB, because Sunday's figure is estimated, you don't know if WB is just overestimating to retain the number one spot, or and sometimes they do. Sometimes studios will overestimate a little just so they can say they're the number one movie of the weekend, because the actual figures don't come out until Monday evenings, and by then no one reads the news anymore.
Right.
By then all the headlines are gone.
Yep, and that's that. I mean, that's the entertainment, I guess, for people who are box office watchers, really. And
yeah, right.
But then again, like people who are casuals, right? Regular Joes, they would think, hey, that this movie, if they haven't seen it, it's the number one movie at the box office again. So it might, get them to watch. So it does have that effect.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the number two movie, or number three, depending on how the figures come out. It's one of the new releases over the weekend. American Made, a Tom Cruise movie about some airplane pilot who eventually was working with the CIA to infiltrate some drug deals in overseas in Colombia, I guess, and he eventually got into a lot of trouble and made a lot of money. And this is not, like you said, this is Tom Cruise in Oscar mode, I guess.
Yes.
And it's not Mission Impossible. It's not any of his action films, his bread and butter. It did 17 million, which is solid, especially since the budget is only 50 million, which is pretty low in Tom Cruise terms.
Right. But let's get to the important point, right? Our projections.
All right.
Okay, so I was pretty off. I thought that it could pull in 35 to 40 million. So 17 million is nowhere near those numbers, that range. But you were right there with 15.
Okay, yeah, a couple of millions off. Yeah, and the reviews are great, 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. I can see this movie, having legs is pretty different from some of the movies out there right now. It's one of these, entertaining drama, thriller, biopic. And with great reviews, they'll probably hang in there and will probably eventually make more than 50 million, which is its budget.
Yeah, I should have realized that this is Tom Cruise in his award mode, Oscar mode, and typically those movies don't usually have that wide of an appeal. 35 to 40 million, my projection is, it's a bit high.
Yeah, and world overseas is done a lot better. Overseas is already made 65 million because Tom Cruise is a huge international star. And it opened like a week earlier overseas, right? Or two?
Yes, a week, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's doing really well overseas. The worldwide figure is already at 82 million, and on a budget of only 50 million is doing great.
Yeah, this is a Tom Cruise movie, and it's at 50 million. So, he took a pay cut, for a chance to, get some award acknowledgement, I guess.
Or just do something different other than, action thrillers.
Yeah, sure. Between movies, in between the Mission Impossibles and Jack Richards. All right, moving along to number 3, and also a potential number 1 movie, depending on how things shakes out. Is Kingsman: The Golden Circle. In the second weekend, it pulled in about 70 million. Drop off is about 56% from previous weekend, and domestic gross is 66.7 million. The worldwide take right now is 192. So hey, a sequel that is, I guess, went beyond my expectations to hold on.
Yeah, and it's dropping off a little bit quicker than I think the previous version held on pretty decently. The first one. So I said last weekend, even though it opened a little bit higher than the first film, it'll probably not make as much as the first film domestically, but it'll probably do better overseas. And so far, it looks like that's happening.
But on the other hand, for an action movie to drop in the the high 50s, it's not
not too bad.
Regular, yeah.
Yeah, it still doesn't speak well for its legginess, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, because sequel, the Golden Circle only opened like 1 or 2, a couple million higher than the first movie. So as we said in the previous podcast, it didn't really capture any new fans. Not enough to make it to, I guess, propel it to make people think about another sequel.
Right. So the previous one, they held up a bit better. The previous one, the drop off was only 49%, but the previous one was also better reviewed, and the previous version held on really well in the next few months. The drop off is like in the 30s and even 20s. This one doesn't look like it's gonna hold up that well.
Right. So I guess we might, depending on how well it does overseas, right? We might or might not see more Kingsman.
Oh, I think we will. I mean,
it's doing really well overseas, right? 126 million so far overseas. So yeah.
It's not going to do as well as the first film, but they'll still crack 100 million. And the opening improved upon the first film. So even though it's just by a little bit, at least it didn't experience like catastrophic drops like some of the other sequels we've seen in the past 2 years.
All right. Do you think they're gonna go with the Fast and Furious route, where they make this into a globe-trotting action adventure movie?
It already is, right?
Sure. Well, I mean, in the first movie,
it is sort of a James Bond type film. So I think it probably will.
But and then in the Golden Circle, they came over to America and meet the team here, right? I mean, you think you expect that moving forward they're gonna have more team in other countries,
probably
and more
China.
exotic locations, right? Yeah, especially China, right? That's a good location to have. Get that co-production deal going on there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Golden Circle, not the last Kingsman movie.
Yeah, doing decent, not great, but decent.
Right.
And probably overseas is doing great.
Right. But more importantly, more Kingsman coming.
Yeah.
All right. Heading on to number 4 is the Lego Ninjago movie. It pulled in about 12 million over the weekend. Domestic gross is about 36 million. Worldwide right now it's only 58 million. So Ninjago is Lego's own brand, and it's at least in movie form, it's not as popular as the other Lego movies.
Yeah. And even though the budget is only around 70 million, it's gonna have a tough time getting there. And the previous 2 films made like 70 million or more, or in that range in their opening weekend. So this one is Ninjago movie is definitely not catching on. I don't think we'll see more sequels to the Ninjago Lego movie. We'll probably
and we talked about this previously, and I asked have we seen like peak Lego movie, and you said that hey, we have to wait until the sequel to the, I guess, mainline.
Yeah, we have to see the sequel
to the Lego movie.
Yeah.
To know, and this it could be just this Ninjago brand is just not that popular with the children, kids, families.
Yeah, and in terms of quality, it also doesn't compare to the first 2 Lego movies.
Okay.
50% on Rotten Tomatoes. The previous 2 were really well reviewed and well regarded. This brand definitely isn't as big as Batman, and especially with a weaker brand, you probably need better reviews, and this one didn't have it.
Yeah, sure, but if kids really want to watch it, the parents will probably take them, right? But there just doesn't seem to be that big of a demand for this one.
Yeah.
Regardless of the reviews, right? So
it helps some. I'm sure if this one was getting glowing reviews, it would do better.
Okay. All right.
I mean, they'll change minds. Like parents are like, hey, maybe we should bring our kids to see it. But
I'm not gonna suffer through this one since it's so well reviewed.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Or
Gotcha.
Hey, we heard so it's kind of not fair to the Ninjago brand. Sure, it is a weaker brand, but then it's also in comparison to the first 2 films, it's a way weaker film too.
All right. So no more Ninjago movies.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Bring us in on number 5.
Sure. At number 5 is the reboot Flatliners. It did 6.7 million over the weekend at a budget of 19 million, and it's a reboot that no one asked for and no one cared for, and I don't think people even were shocked that it was there, and the opening reflects that no one cared.
Well, the budget is only about 19 million, so if you take that into account, that it is just leave out the Flatliner name and leave out the sequel / reboot, right? It's a okay horror movie,
and also it scored a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was at 0% for a while.
Wow. Is that the lowest movie of 2017?
It could be, very possibly.
Wow. It's hard
what
to
were,
get
what,
a consensus
what were our
like
projections?
That. Oh, okay, let's get to this.
Okay, it scored 1 good review out of 39.
Okay. All right. So Flatliners, you say it would make about less than 5 million. So, you were kind of close. You were kind of close. Do we need my projections at all?
Okay. Probably not.
I'll throw it out there. Since I said it, why not own up to it? I'd say it could open to 15.
Oh, okay.
See what I mean? I'm way off on this month.
See, it's like when I'm here, your mojo kind of moves to my side.
As long as one of us is right, I think we're good.
All right. Like we only have a certain whiteness. Okay. And it doesn't go beyond that.
All right. Sometimes you're right, sometimes I'm right. So it's okay. Like I say, as long as one of us got it right, we can still do this. All right. So Flatliners, 6.7 million. As you say, nobody. Well, not nobody, but it's not that big of a deal considering that it's based on a movie that people knows about, right? It's a sequel / reboot since Kiefer Sutherland returned for this movie, playing the same role. But hey, it is a reboot in all.
Yeah, but it's only the budget's only 19 million. They'll lose money, but not that much. It's kind of in Sony's terms, chump change.
Right. You know,
And
we don't have this conversation. Say, Sen, you know what sequel they should make? Flatliners. They should make a sequel to Flatliners. I don't think anyone had that conversation.
yeah, or they should reboot it.
Yes. Except the
No
people,
one,
you know, the studios.
people would,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of people didn't even know it. They rebooted it.
And judging by that, since we're kind of connected as well, you know, and if we don't know about it, that means they didn't really spend any money advertising this movie as well.
Yeah, they just kind of threw it out there.
Right.
It's kind of like, we have a reboot that we're not really proud of, but we spent 19 million on it. We might as well throw it out.
Sure, and it is one of these straight to video plays, right? So just release it on in theaters just for some headlines, and then straight to video.
Yeah, and for something like this, it's almost like if it's on video, people might as well just watch the the old one.
Well, but this one has updated effects, right? Right.
Oh yeah.
You can't, the effects back then are, it's not that good, but now you have updated effects. They made one for 20 million. Hey, they're gonna make that back.
Right.
All right. Moving on to number 6. Movie that I'm kind of right on. Battle of the Sexes.
Mm-hmm.
So it pulled in about 3.4 million over the weekend, and it expanded from the previous weekend, adding over 1,000 theaters. This movie is about Billie Jean King going up against this guy who's in his 50s, claiming that he could beat the number one women's tennis player in the world, and they make a big fuss about it. I compare it to the Mayweather Conor fight, MMA boxing fight. So it's basically for show. And it did about where I think it would open to in its expansion. I said 3 to 5 million. You say 8 to 10. So.
Yeah, I was kind of off on this one. The reviews are great. I guess the subject matter not that appealing. We'll have to see how well it holds up in the following weeks, but this is not that promising,
Yeah, it is tennis. It is about Billie Jean King. Even though it's headlined by Emma Stone, right? Steve Carell is there, but it's tennis.
Well, it is released by Fox Searchlight, so we'll see how they work their magic. We'll see if this continues to hang in there in the following weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those movies, with people wanting to watch some, I guess acting, right? This is a good movie to go to. Reviews are good.
Yeah.
Right? But for people who want something more, I guess, who are, it's just one of those biopics, like Joy, that one about the Miracle Mop with Jennifer Lawrence.
Right.
It's kind of those things, movie that the subject matter just doesn't appeal to a lot of people.
Not that appealing to a mainstream audience.
Right.
All right, let's move on to number 7. American Assassin from Lionsgate. It did 3.3 million over the weekend. After 3 weeks, it has already grossed 32 million, which is about equal to its 33 million budget. For Lionsgate, let's see how well it's doing overseas. It hasn't expanded that wide overseas yet. The overseas take is 44 million. It's going to make more than its budget domestically, and this is the kind of film that could do well overseas. It's kind of a solid, modest hit for Lionsgate.
Speaking of home video, right? American Assassin is one of those movies. It's a perfect fit for home video. It doesn't have big name stars, with the exception of Kevin Costner. Michael Keane? Okay. They look alike. Except Michael Keane. So like you say, Lionsgate, they're gonna try to milk whatever they have, and wouldn't be surprised if there is a sequel, right? They
cranked out sequels. They cranked out sequels to films that have done less.
Right.
All those Jason Statham movies, excluding the Transporter films.
Right.
Wait, what's that one? What's that one with the? I forgot what it's called. The one with the heart.
The one with the heart. Crank.
Yeah, Crank.
Yeah.
I mean, the first Crank. I mean, it didn't do that well. It made 25 million or something like that, or a little bit less, and they cranked out one or two sequels to that.
Hey, sure. It's just like Speed with person's heart.
Yeah. So, American Assassin will probably do 40 million or a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's in the Transporter range. And those films got sequels. And I wouldn't surprise if this one gets some too.
Right. Moving on to number 8. Home Again. It's the rom-com, Reese Witherspoon rom-com. It pulled about 1.7 million over the weekend. Yeah, its domestic growth so far is 25, which is way higher than the 12 million budget. So, hey, it's doing okay.
Yeah, it made money.
Yes.
How are the reviews? I think it's solid, right? Or not?
Reviews, it's about 30%, which is not good.
Okay, not good. So, even more surprising. It did decent biz, well, in relative terms, even with bad reviews.
Yes. Well, it's like one of these movies with a name, and okay movie, and it did its job, made money.
Right. Okay, let's move on to number 9. The third new release of the weekend. That's, I guess, not really wide. It was released in a little bit over 500 theaters. It's Til Death Do Us, and we were wondering whether or not these erotic thrillers that targets the African American audience will continue to do as well as the previous 2 or 3. And it looks like they didn't have much faith in this one because they only released it in about 500 screens. And it pulled in 1.5 million, which is, not bad for just 500 screens. The per screen average is about 3,000, which is, not great, but okay. But at the same time, it's still disappointing considering the previous ones did open to 25 million and 15 million.
Yeah. We made our projections assuming that it was, over 2,000 theaters, right? You said it would open to 10 million. I said it could do 20 to 25, which is what typical, African American, thrillers open to.
So let's multiply this by 4.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still off.
We're still off. I mean, and we said that we want to test out this theory that you need 2 hot guys and hot women to make this thriller work. And I'm not sure if this movie kind of proves or disproves it.
Dude, it disproves it.
It kind of. But I still hold on to it. I guess this one, I think they just didn't really have faith in this one. They just threw it out there.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait until the next
What
one.
were the reviews? Wow, still no reviews. I guess. Let me see. No score yet on RT.
Okay.
Wow.
Which means
no one bothered. Even critics didn't bother.
Either no one bothered or
there's
that
one review.
they didn't hold a screening. They didn't hold a screening, and that critics didn't bother to go out.
Except, the Hollywood Reporter actually gave it a fresh.
So.
Yeah. So the Hollywood Reporter gave it a pass.
Okay. But in any case, right? This one they didn't release it that wide. They don't have faith in it. They didn't have faith in it, and it just only pulled in 1.5 million. Like I said, it's kind of disappointing because it didn't give my theory a good test.
Yeah, and I'm surprised with the other 2 doing so well that they didn't at least open this to 2,000 screens.
Yeah, but anyway, on to the next one. And talk about disappointing, right? At number 10 is Mother, the Darren Aronofsky horror movie. Is it a horror movie?
They advertise it as a horror movie, but it's more of a domestic drama thriller.
Yeah, with some gruesome footage, I guess. So it's not your typical horror movie. With Jennifer Lawrence, who is dating Aronofsky right now.
Oh, okay. All
right. So there's that connection. It's not well received at all from critics or the audience.
No, it was decently well received by critics.
Okay.
Compared to previous,
okay.
Yeah, 67%. Previous Darren Aronofsky's films have been better reviewed. So in relative terms, it's not as well reviewed as his other films. But in the horror genre, 67% is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why some critics liked it was just because it was different.
Yes.
But it was so different that it turned the audience off because They advertised it as a horror film, and apparently it wasn't a horror film from the way the audience reacted.
Right. This is a movie where critics love because they seem to kind of get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or they think I could get it and people probably wouldn't get it. This is one of these movies where critics can feel smug about themselves, but the general audience just didn't like.
Yeah, and there's also another thing with sometimes surprises just don't work. Like Split, for instance, they kept the twist, the surprise, for the longest time. It was actually sort of related to Unbreakable. It was actually a comic book movie, a superhero movie, advertised as a horror film, and the big surprise still kind of made the movie. Whereas this one, the big surprise kind of destroyed the movie because people were just like, what? I came in for a horror movie, and I got something way more strange and weird and out there.
No, it's just that the payoff is just weird.
Yeah, the payoff wasn't there.
It doesn't connect the dots for the general audience. It's just so strange.
I guess like anything with these twist endings, if it's good, then people don't mind it. But sometimes the payoff, just like you said, the payoff isn't there.
Right. So yeah, Mother. It's one of those movies. A footnote that doesn't work.
Right.
Okay. So I guess that's it for the top 10. How about we move on to the new releases? We have about 3 new releases. The biggest one is Blade Runner 2049, which is a sequel to Blade Runner, obviously, by the title. And then the thriller The Mountain Between Us and My Little Pony, the animated film. Let's start off with Blade Runner 2049, a movie that's released in over 3,900 theaters locations.
Yeah, it's getting amazing reviews. People are talking about Best Picture, Best Actor, 96%. And people are talking about Oscars here. Very surprising because this is sort of a reboot / sequel to a very old property.
Well, you kind of see some similarity between this and Fury Road, right? Max Fury Road, very well reviewed.
Yeah.
But it's based on it's a prequel to.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
This is a prequel. Oh, okay.
No. I'm talking about Blade Runner. No, I'm talking about a Fury Road, Mad Max Fury Road. I think is a prequel, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. I'm just talking about the Blade Runner 2049 here is like a sequel / as you say, reboot of a known property, a previous movie. And it seems, according to the reviews, it seems to be one that did pretty well.
Yeah. So what are you thinking? Because the first Blade Runner was more of a cult hit. It wasn't a hit at the box office. It got its followers and its fans when it hit home video. With cult hits, you're not sure because sometimes they're just cult hits. They're just a small number of people who loves it, and it doesn't expand beyond that. With Blade Runner, you're not sure if this is one of those or it's going to be one of those that when they finally do a lot of money at it reaches a bigger audience.
Well, I think you're talking about Blade Runner here. I think as you say, it didn't open up that well when it first opened, like 6 million opening back in 1982, and it only grossed 32 million domestically. But
it did 32 million. That's actually not too bad, I think.
Yeah, but still.
But not the kind of hit that Harrison Ford was. Not Star Wars or Indiana Jones.
But it was one of those movies where like nobody was happy about. Like Harrison Ford doesn't like the the voiceover. The Ridley Scott didn't like the voiceover. No one was happy about that movie, and they put out some director's cut of the movie. But it's one of those movies where its legend grows over the years, and it's regarded as one of the best movies.
The best science fiction movie.
Yes. So it has gained that reputation, and now now with the good reviews, People saying, "Oh, it's a worthy movie. It's a world that fans can there are a lot of them now since it's now regarded as one of the best sci-fi movie ever, and can return to. So the box office is going to be huge, but again, we don't know how huge. And gotta mention that this movie is directed by, excuse my French, Denis Villeneuve, and not by Ridley Scott.
Yeah, Ridley Scott is the producer, right?
Yes.
And Denis Villeneuve. Oh man! All right.
Sure. Yeah.
He's done some pretty good movies. You look at his filmography; it's all fresh. It's all 75% was his lowest rated film. He's done The Arrival, Sicario, Enemy, Prisoners, Incendies, Polytechnique, Maelstrom. All these are really well reviewed. Most of them certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. And some of them have done really well, like The Arrival and Prisoners. 61 million, 100 million, 101 million for The Arrival. So he's a very good director. He makes very consistently good films. But this one is probably his highest review so far.
And it's probably going to be his highest grossing one.
Yeah, maybe. The Arrival did 101 million. And like we said, we're not sure how big this is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what kind of opening are you predicting?
Let me see. Wow.
Because let's put it this way, like the first Terminator in the 80s made like 31 million or in that range.
Okay.
But the second Terminator grossed over 200 million. Will this be the second Terminator or somewhere below that? Will this be 100 million, 200 million? I don't know.
I don't know, but like I said, this movie has taken on this mythical status. It's the movie, the sci-fi movie, right? A thinking person sci-fi movie, and if you want action, it's all there, right? Harrison Ford is even in this one. He's returning, so there's that connection with the old movie as well. But I don't know how big this is gonna be.
Right.
But I'm gonna just throw a number where I think it's gonna be around.
Also, the thing is, Jared Leto didn't send anyone use condoms or dead rats and stuff, so that might be like Suicide Squad. He wasn't that method, or who knows? Maybe he was that method.
Okay, but anyway. Okay.
I think that kind of helped Suicide Squad though, because Suicide Squad, despite full reviews, ended up doing well.
I don't know. I think people just want to watch a different superhero movie other than the Marvel stuff. It's just right place, right time. Anyway, okay, Blade Runner 2049. I think it's going to be huge, but I don't know how huge. I think it's gonna pull in maybe 80 million. Open to.
Whoa, 80 million? That's super huge.
I think it's going to be super huge. I think it's going to be super huge.
So let's just, you said I don't know how big it's going to be. Yeah. You think it's going to be super huge?
I think it's going to be super huge.
Yeah, 80 million is more than twice what the original film did.
Yeah, but we're talking about way back when.
And 80 million in October is like, it's kind of in that record-breaking territory.
Okay.
For the month of October.
Right, but like I said, I'm going to be wrong this month. As long as you're right, we're good.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Wait, you don't think that a Blade Runner, like the best sci-fi, well, no, arguably, right, best sci-fi movie of all time, right?
One of the best. One of the best.
Anyway, I say arguably.
Again, it's one of those films that had a huge cult following, and then the problem with cult followings is sometimes they grow beyond that that group of people who really, really loves it. But sometimes they don't expand beyond, and that group of people who really loves it are really loud. So then we artificially think that it must have grown super huge. But that's the thing. You're not sure if it was just this small, really loud group, or did it really expanded beyond that group.
Oh, okay. Just some comparison. Uh, a recent Ridley Scott movie that's kind of tied into his previous hit, the Alien movies. Prometheus, excuse me, opened to 51 million. Alien Covenant, even though it has an alien name in it, only opened to 36 million.
Yeah, the only problem with the whole Aliens franchise is that the ones that he made are already like the fifth and sixth one.
Yes.
Because they already made Aliens, they made Alien, they made Aliens, and then they made like the third Alien and a fourth one. So by the time he got to it, it's already
those knockoffs that's being sold, straight to home videos.
Yeah, and then there's Alien versus Predator. So
yes,
by the time he got to it, it's already pretty saturated.
Right, the Alien name doesn't have the same.
But to his credit, his Alien films, all the best performing ones since the original, the first, the original two.
Yes.
So to his credit, he was able to bring an audience to these films, because Aliens 3 and 4 didn't have much of an audience. The group of hardcore Alien fans went to see it opening weekend, and then it dropped off like a horror film, which is in the 70% range, high 60% range.
Okay. So, but with this one, 2049, Ridley Scott's not the one directing it.
Yeah. It's hard to say. I mean, I'm gonna go with because these reviews are very glowing.
Yes. I
and
heard
sometimes
that but like you said, they're talking about awards for this movie.
and sometimes when you have these super glowing reviews, it draws a huge attention to these films, and sometimes it's like Wonder Woman. I don't think people had huge expectations for it, but then when the reviews came out and it was like 96%, people were like, wow, and it opens to 100 million. So this one could possibly do 80 million, like you say, but I'm gonna go conservative and say 40.
40. Okay. Yeah. Well, as we know,
because it is October.
Sure. But I like I said, the money is there. It just depends on the movie. And you talk about all these glowing reviews, right? And like I said, Blade Runner is one of these movies that people have a high regard of, and the 96% rating, it just confirms what people want to believe.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't know. But like I said,
you could be right, but yeah, I'm going conservative.
Okay, right. But if we go with what Ridley Scott's movies, his recent one opens to, it could be in the 50s.
Yeah, it could end up somewhere in the middle, and that's still a humongous hit in the month of October.
All right, so let's move on to The Mountain Between Us. It stars Idris Elba and Kate Winslet. It's based on a novel, about a doctor and a journalist who crash land on a mountain, and they need to, get together, band together to survive. So I can get back to civilization.
All right. There are only 15 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes so far, but they're pretty good, 73% so far. But this is one of these survival movies. Idris Elba and Kate Winslet, I'm not sure. How big of a draw they are. Good reviews, solid good reviews. I'll go 8 to 10.
8 to 10. Okay, 8 to 10 million. As you say, you're right. I think you're right in questioning how big of a draw Idris Elba and Kate Winslet are in this. It's kind of survival romance movie. And with Blade Runner in theaters, if it's as huge as I think it could be, or it would be,
then it's gonna suck everything up.
It's gonna suck everything up, and I'm gonna go lower, maybe 5 million or less, I think.
Okay, all
right. And our next one, who's gonna give Blade Runner a run for its money, is My Little Pony movie.
Yeah. I'm going 5 million on this. It's not getting that high of a release, and when you watch the trailer, it looks like a straight to Netflix. It looks like a TV movie in terms of the animation quality. it's very colorful and everything's super cute, but it looks like one of these movies you find on Netflix.
My Little Pony is really, I guess, target toward the girls, like little girls,
Yeah.
right? Ponies, they
Mhm.
talk, they sing, and
Yeah.
whatever they do. Online, you see a lot of references to My Little Pony,
Yeah.
but I don't know as a movie how big this
Yeah.
is, right?
Yeah, and it
But
doesn't look like they have a lot of faith in it because for an animated film they didn't put much money into it.
but ponies, they're very popular with little girls,
Yeah.
right? But here's the thing: we have a triple threat of movies, kind of, in
Mhm.
theaters. We have
Yeah.
like Blade Runner for the guys. We
Yeah.
have Mountain Between Us for moms, maybe, who took the kids or and the husbands, maybe the significant others, right? And there's the little ponies for the kids.
Yeah. So it's hitting all demographics this weekend.
Sort of, but again, I'm gonna go a bit higher than your 5 million. I'm gonna go 15 million, but because I think the female
15 million would make this a pretty solid hit because
because My Little Pony, I think, is a good brand, and I think for mother-daughter bonding, I guess this movie's there. I wouldn't be surprised if the movie opened higher. I think
which is why I'm kind of surprised they didn't put more money into it. That
maybe they don't need to. It because the brand sells itself.
Yeah, maybe.
But then again, you could be right as well. Like nobody cares about My Little Pony.
I mean, like the Tinkerbell.
At least the movie version.
The Tinkerbell direct to Netflix films, or I watched them and they're very high quality. They look way better than this. And
well, but you're talking about Disney, right?
Yeah.
Disney makes good stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
well, John Lasseter surprisingly was behind that too. You put his name into it, you're gonna get quality stuff, except Cars.
He's like the George Lucas of animation right now, right?
I would say he's better. He had a lot more successes. He just has one major flaw, which is Cars. But yeah, the George Lucas connection is there because the whole reason for Cars is toys, merchandise.
Right. Yes. Right. Okay, so we have Blade Runner 2049. I said 80 million. You said 40. Mountain Between Us. We're kind of right there. Not high in this movie. Kind of indie level. 5 million. You 8 to 10. And we differ a bit on My Little Pony. 15 million. Me. You 5 million. But who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
you're more optimistic about the brand than I am.
I just have a feel that it could be bigger than what we since this is not targeted toward us. It's like an underserved demographic. I feel.
Well, sure. My daughter wants to see it, and that's the only time I've heard of it.
Right. See, there you go.
Yeah, but will I bring her to see it? I don't know. They already saw Ninjago.
Well, that's the thing, right? You drop him off to My Little Pony, and then you head on over to watch The Mountain Between Us, right?
Yeah, sure.
Right. So there you go. I think My Little Pony is gonna be bigger than what we let on. Okay. All right.
So we'll see you next weekend.
Yes.
Next week.
Yes. Tune in.